Hello, everyone, and thank you all for joining. My name is Justin Meredith. I'm a senior digital marketing specialist at Birdeye, and I'm really excited to talk to you all today because we will be digging into one of my favorite topics, artificial intelligence. And more specifically, we're going to talk about some of the different ways that AI is being used in the healthcare space. And then we are going to dig into how to use AI to reduce administrative headaches and those time consuming tasks. And we are going to talk about how to increase patient loyalty while also attracting new patients. Now, before we get started, I'd love to see where everyone is tuning in from today. I'm broadcasting out of Austin, and one of my favorite parts about doing these discussions is that we're able to connect with so many different people from so many different places, and sometimes not so different. I remember one time I was doing a webinar and I asked that question, and someone actually responded that they were also tuning in from Austin. And it turns out that they were only like a mile away from my street. So it could be a really big world and a really small world. So let me know where you're tuning in from. And, I also encourage you all to ask questions, add your input, or even just say hello in the chat. My goal is to provide as much helpful information and insight into this new world of AI that we're in. So let's go ahead and dig right in. Now, AI is something that's not necessarily new, but it didn't really become mainstream until late last year with the release of ChatGPT. And I'm sure most people here have heard of it or maybe even played around with it or tried it. And, if you're using it, please let us know in the comments what you use it for. It's incredible to see all the different use cases for AI, and I would love to learn how you guys are using it. Speaking of the different use cases, AI is currently being applied in the healthcare space right now, from machine learning to deep learning to natural language processing. The possibilities of AI in healthcare are nearly endless. But that's not to say that AI isn't already being used in healthcare. A great example is in DNA research and genomics. Over the years, machine learning has allowed researchers to sequence and analyze DNA faster than ever before. Another example is that there's an AI model from Oxford University that can identify genetic disorders with just a scan of your face. More recently, and actually most notably, Google just announced their launch of MedPalm 2, which is a specialized version of their large language model, meaning it can understand and generate human-like text just like ChatGPT. But what's special about this is that it's been trained specifically for the medical field, and it's got some really impressive capabilities. For example, it can help answer complex medical questions and even find really specific information in super dense, complicated medical texts. It's also pretty good at drafting responses and summarizing information, which could be super helpful when time is of the essence. But what has people really excited is that it's performing at an expert level when answering US medical licensing exam style questions. And it's achieving an 85% accuracy rate too. So it's not just taking these questions and kind of answering them. It's answering them at an expert level. And it's even nailing some of those really tough medical exam questions that are used in India. Now, these are some amazing developments. And with the more recent developments in AI and machine learning, these things will only come faster and faster. But even then, these developments still take years and a massive amount of money and research to become before they become widely available. And you guys, healthcare providers, are still running a business, which means you need to find ways to increase that patient loyalty while also consistently bringing in new patients, but providing the best possible care for your patients while also running a business that has its own needs can result in a lot of different challenges. And so we're going to talk about a few of those challenges today. Now, these are challenges that are mostly related to the growth of your practice, more of the business side. And we're going to talk about how AI can help you overcome those challenges right now and not after years of money and research has been dumped into it. But these are things and AI capabilities that you can actually implement into your healthcare practice right now. So the first challenge that we're going to be talking about today is of communication issues. Effective communication between providers and patients is absolutely essential. Imagine you yourself are a patient and you're trying to schedule an appointment for, let's say, a toothache. So you call the office and nobody picks up. You check the website and you see that they have an email address. So you send them an email, but no one has responded all day. If you're not in a hurry and if this is not an emergency situation, you might be okay waiting. But let's say that toothache really, really hurts. Like every single time you take a breath, it hurts. Uh, you're not going to wait around for somebody to respond to an email. Um, you're going to find somebody who can help you right now. And let's say, you go to that website and they even have online scheduling, which I think a lot of healthcare providers nowadays have. But it's clunky, and maybe you have some questions about the information you're supposed to provide, or maybe you're not quite sure exactly what boxes to check or something like that. But the people who you called aren't answering the phone. So you're still not able to get the exact experience that you need as a patient. And ultimately, that healthcare provider or that dentist office is going to miss out on your business. Now, I have a question for you guys is where have you seen communication issues arise? Is it before the appointment or after? Let me know in the chat what you guys are experiencing. And throughout the pre, during, and post-appointment process, bad communication can really, really impact the overall experience for your patients, which can lower their chances of returning to your practice. And it definitely reduces the chance that they'll refer you to their friends and family. And this is something that has become even more important since COVID because the number of digital messages between doctors and patients has increased by over 50%. Now, this leads me to the second challenge, which is information issues. And regarding the first obstacle, poor communication can result in patients forgetting to disclose certain information. It could result in them entering the wrong information or struggling, or maybe they struggle with the technology during that pre-appointment process, like I was just mentioning with the online scheduling. And even when you do receive all the information that you need, reviewing it is not an easy task. It takes a lot of time. When you're dealing with large amounts of volume data, just trying to decipher handwritten notes and digging into the discrepancies can cause a significant administrative burden. So what are some of the information management issues that you've dealt with? Is it collecting it from the patient, or is it after you've collected it, is it organizing it and managing it and sifting through it? Let me know what you guys are struggling with when it comes to managing data and information. Now, this leads me to the third challenge, which is managing an online reputation. And this is important because a positive or a negative online reputation can insanely impact your practice. Negative reviews and a low star rating can deter new patients from choosing a certain provider. And this makes it just that much harder to attract new patients and grow the practice. And it hurts regarding search and map rankings as well, which means you won't appear near the top of the Google search results, which means people might not even see your practice online when they're looking. So what is your approach to online reviews? Or do you try to generate more reviews, or are you responding to them? Let me know how you guys are approaching your online reputation. And lastly, this leads us to our fourth challenge of the day. And this is more so a result of the first three. And in the way that poor communication, mismanaged information, and a bad online reputation can make it painstakingly difficult to increase that patient loyalty and attract new patients. I mean, would you want to go back to a provider that's really difficult to get in touch with? Or maybe it never seems that they have the right information? Or maybe it just takes forever just to get through all the paperwork stuff with them, and it's just a headache every single time. Or would you even consider going to a dentist, a pediatrician, or maybe an orthopedic surgeon or a surgeon in general that has a 2 or a 3-star rating with them and they have a lot of negative reviews to go with it? Probably not. You see, happy, engaged patients are more likely to come back for future healthcare needs and are more willing to refer their friends and family to a great provider, which can be massive for the growth of your practice. They're also more likely to share their positive experiences online through reviews and social media, which leads to even more growth. So those are the challenges we're dealing with today. And these are some of the challenges that can impact the growth of your healthcare practice: communication, information, managing an online reputation, and finding ways to increase patient loyalty and attract new patients. Now, obviously, there are a ton of other obstacles that I'm sure you face every single day. This is just some that we picked out, but these specific challenges are special because they all have one thing in common, and they all involve something called patient engagement. Now, great patient engagement is when patients actively collaborate with their providers to make decisions and manage their health. They feel like they have a voice in their healthcare, and that their preferences, values, and needs are actually being taken into account. When patients are engaged in their healthcare, they are more likely to have positive experiences, and they're more likely to share them. When you think about your best patients, what are some of the characteristics that come to mind? Are they loyal? Are they open, honest? Are they communicative? Do they refer their friends and family to you? For the provider, having high patient engagement can lead to a ton of benefits. Um, First, your communication will be easier. Patients are happier, and they'll want to come back to your practice. And it can increase patient referrals as well as improve your online reputation with positive reviews. And this all leads to more new patients as well. Now, let's talk about how to use AI to increase patient engagement, which will help you overcome the challenges that we discussed and ultimately grow your practice. So, first off, using AI to overcome communication issues. Now, patient engagement is a crucial aspect of healthcare, and effective communication plays a significant role in fostering engagement. However, ensuring consistent and meaningful communication with every single patient can be challenging, particularly when staff availability is limited and emergencies can occur outside of business hours. Accidents don't wait between the 9 and 5 to happen, they can happen at any time. So it's really important to have somebody always available. Now, this is where AI can come in. Something like an AI chatbot can enhance communication between patients and providers both before and after appointments. And it uses human like conversation, which just builds that relationship just a little bit further. So your patients don't feel like they're talking to a bot. Now, this allows you to not have to be readily available 24/7 with somebody manning the phones all the time. And it ensures that there are no opportunities that are missed for when it comes to getting new patients. Some of the ways in which AI can help before the appointment are with appointment scheduling. With chatbot assisted appointment scheduling, it can check available time slots, coordinate with doctor schedules, and it can respond like a human and understand human questions. So when people are in a hurry or they have a quick question, or you know, maybe you just don't have somebody readily available 24/7, the AI chatbot will be there to answer them in a human-like way. Another way that they can help before the appointment is with automatically providing patients with relevant information about their upcoming appointment, including preparation instructions, required documentation, and really any necessary procedures that they might need to have done or do before the appointment. And this just helps patients come more prepared. And when your patients are prepared, they can spend more time focusing on their healthcare and not on paperwork. Now, on the post appointment side, you could use AI to help with follow up care. So, automated reminders to patients of recovery instructions, dietary recommendations. If you're a physical therapist, this could help. You could have the AI chatbot send them recommended exercise routines. And you can also have automated reminders to patients regarding their medication schedules, helping them avoid any missed doses. And overall, this just promotes better health outcomes, and it reduces the chances of medication related complications. Another way for post appointment would be through progress tracking, which is periodically checking in with patients after their appointment. The AI chatbot can ask them questions and receive answers, and it can assess their progress, collect feedback, and identify maybe any potentially emerging issues. This information can also be relayed to the doctor directly and enable them to make more timely, informed decisions regarding their patient's health, and hopefully leads to a better healthcare. So my question for you guys is anyone here already using an AI chatbot? And if you are, let me know how it's going. If not, is there a reason as to why not, or are you still exploring? Feel free to let me know in the chat. Now, effective communication ensures that both the patient and the provider receive the information that they need in order to achieve the best possible results. And now this leads me to the next challenge, which is information issues. And just like it can help ensure effective communication, AI can also help collect and analyze important data and information. This makes processing patients easier and faster. It gives them just an overall better experience. I was actually just reading an article about how at Johns Hopkins they've implemented AI to track patient inflow and outflow. And since that implementation, they're assigning patients admitted to the emergency department. They're getting them to beds 38% faster. And now I know not everyone here is, at the size or, maybe at a facility like Johns Hopkins, but the practice of taking an AI tool like that and using it to decipher information and make suggestions to make your processes more efficient can be applied to anybody in any business in any industry. I've even seen some natural language processing models that use machine learning to decipher handwritten notes. Uh, but I doubt anyone here would need that because we all know how we all know how great doctors' handwriting is, and so I don't think anybody here would actually need that. But these tools really just they make it easier for you to review and interpret data. Just by doing that, it can save you a ton of time on the administrative stuff, which allows you to focus more on what's important, your patient. And when these issues get resolved, patient engagement also increases because now they're able to focus on their healthcare and not on the paperwork and the administrative stuff or making sure their forms are filled out correctly. And this even applies to post-appointment situations. Some tools use natural language processing to analyze unstructured data and make more sense of it, like providing a sentiment analysis of your online reputation, which we're going to talk about in just a second. But you can actually have an AI tool analyze the customer feedback or the patient feedback that you receive, and it can give you a real sentiment of how they're feeling, and it gives you way more insights as opposed to just your star rating. So you can actually really truly understand where you're strong and where you're weak. Now, as I mentioned, let's go onto your online reputation, how to use AI to manage it. Now, a strong online reputation is absolutely crucial in today's day and age. It's just one of those things that it's just here to stay. You have to have a presence online in order to really see some true growth. And the core of your online reputation is your online reviews. And that's because 81% of patients consider online reviews when selecting a healthcare provider. This means that having a great online reputation can immediately make you a front runner for new patients. But having a great online reputation takes a lot of work. It requires consistently generating new reviews, responding to reviews, and properly managing negative feedback, which I know is a big one. It also requires you to constantly monitor and analyze reviews for trends. And if you're doing this manually, this is going to be a massive headache and really, really difficult to do consistently. Fortunately, you can use AI to help with this entire process. There are platforms nowadays that allow you to launch automated email, text review request campaigns for every single patient. You can have the request timed out so that they receive them right after their appointment with you. AI also monitors nearly every website on the internet that could possibly host a review, and it will notify you when new ones come in, or even maybe you just want to see the negative ones so you can address those. It can do that too, and it can identify kind of like what we were talking about with the sentiment analysis. It can identify different keywords in the reviews so you can pull those trends. Now, you can also use natural language processing, like as I was saying, with the sentiment of every single one of your reviews. But you can also have automated responses to each review using a large language model like ChatGPT to create personalized human sounding responses. And all you have to do is review it, tweak, and submit. And finally, you can implement an AI that can not only analyzes all of your patient feedback, but it can also analyze your competitors as well. And basically, this is because it's publicly available online, so you can see their reviews. And this will take all of the customer feedback of your competitors, and it will show you exactly where your competitors are succeeding and where they're falling short. Now, all of these use cases with AI contribute to increasing patient loyalty and patient acquisition. And that's because these processes reduce friction, and they reduce friction for patients trying to receive their healthcare. And this allows them to focus on the actual healthcare itself, making them more engaged with you, their healthcare provider. When a patient is highly engaged on that side of things and not on the administrative stuff, this allows them to develop a relationship with you. And this ultimately increases their loyalty and their chances of coming back to you for their future healthcare needs. In addition to that, and this really isn't full-blown AI, but you can also implement an automated appointment reminder campaign through text message or email. A great example is a reminder text with a link to schedule an annual or a semi-annual checkup. So like, let's say you're a dentist office and you want people to be coming back twice a year for their annual or semi-annual cleaning. You can have automated text messages sent out to your patients right around the time they should be scheduling that next appointment. This can massively increase the chances of patients coming back to your practice over and over and over again, increasing that loyalty. On the patient acquisition side, a stellar online reputation can do absolute wonders for the visibility of your practice, especially on Google and like online search. And it will help you attract new patients. And this can all be done through AI. But in addition to that, similar to the automated text reminders for annual checkups, you can also send and manage referral campaigns to your patients. And I think everyone knows how valuable a patient referral can be. It's just having that recommendation from a trusted family member or a friend goes a long way in the mind of a potentially new patient. So automating any parts of that process can really help generate more referral traffic, and that can be just huge. So these are just some of the ways that you can use AI-powered patient engagement to help boost the business side of your practice while also making life easier for you and your patients. But the difficulty with any AI is managing the data. The data that an AI outputs is only as good as the data that it receives. It's basically, the way I like to think about it is garbage in, garbage out. And this makes having platforms that can collect and manage that data so crucial. And you have to really be careful about what tools you use when it comes to AI, because you want to make sure that whatever is happening with that information, that data, is that it's safe and secure. And that's where a tool like Birdeye can really be so valuable. You can send automated review, referral, and survey requests to your patients automatically. Birdeye can also monitor and analyze the sentiment of your online reviews and of your competitors, like we were talking about earlier. And it can also send the automated referral campaigns to help drive new patients. We also have an AI chatbot that you can host on your website to help with scheduling and just answering patient questions. Essentially, I almost forgot, but you can also run your entire social media for all of your locations from one dashboard in Birdeye. Essentially, your entire online existence or your online presence can be managed from Birdeye using our AI capabilities and our other tools as well. In fact, we actually just announced that we are expanding our partnership with Google, and we're implementing their AI capabilities into our platform, specifically with their recently announced Google Bard, which is like their version of ChatGPT. Now, let's quickly recap and go over some final takeaways before jumping into Q&A. So what we've covered today is that AI is revolutionizing medical research and development. It has the potential to transform medicine and healthcare for both patients and providers, and it has the ability to transform healthcare's business operations right now. And it has the ability to transform, the growth of a practice by increasing their loyalty and decreasing the negative experiences that patients are facing. And with the right AI solutions, you can automate the tedious and headache-causing tasks that take time away from you and your patients. And it ultimately will disengage them if they are too caught up in that paperwork. But remember, like as we were just saying, AI and machine learning algorithms only perform as well as the data it receives, which is why leveraging the key data from solutions like Birdeye are so important. And also, I wanted to let you know that Birdeye is HIPAA compliant. And so we follow all of the rules. All of the employees have background checks, and we make sure that everybody goes through training so that you can feel comfortable in the fact that your data will be safe with Birdeye when it comes to this sort of thing. Now, we received some questions, and I want to make sure we can go through those. And it looks like the first one, how can we ensure the privacy and security of our patients' data when using AI? Well, I just answered that, and it is that we are fully HIPAA compliant. We've also got a list of other compliance certifications and things that we have that allow us to operate the way we do, because we are fully compliant with all of those sorts of things. And you can go to our website to check out all of those if you'd like as well. Our second question is, how do you deal with old negative reviews that aren't reflective of how things are now? For context, we had some appointment scheduling issues that resulted in a few nasty reviews. So this is a question that I've received a few times, and unfortunately, you can't, if the review is valid, if it's from a real patient and they're verified, then I don't think you'll be able to take those off your page. And so my recommendation would be to basically make up for it with a bunch of positive reviews. So if you have 10 reviews and one of them is negative, that means that negative review has a 10% weight on your overall star rating. But let's say you had 100 reviews and most of them, maybe 95 of them were positive, and maybe, you had a couple 3 stars or 4 stars, and then you had like 2 or 3 1 stars. Those 1-star reviews aren't going to carry nearly as much weight as your positive reviews because there's so much more positive than there is negative. And I also recommend always, always, always make sure that you respond to all of your reviews, whether it's positive or negative. If it's positive, you want to respond to them so that you can show your appreciation for your patient, because they took the time to leave you a review. You should at least take the time to respond and say thank you. And on the negative review side, you don't want to leave that negative feedback just floating out there on the internet for anybody to read without any sort of context or explanation from your side. I know a lot of people might think that if we just ignore the negative review, it will go away. We don't want to put any more light on it because we don't want more people to see it. But that's actually more counterintuitive because you want to make sure that your side of the story is seen on that review. And the last question is, here we go. Do you recommend using ChatGPT and other AI tools to help create marketing content? Yes, I do. But I encourage you to use it in the right way. So don't use these AI tools as a crutch in the sense of, okay, I'm just going to tell ChatGPT to write me 5 blogs about how to, properly stay flexible. Let's say you're a physical therapist and you have a blog about stretching. You don't want to just have ChatGPT write it and then you copy and paste. You want to use it as a tool to help your current content be better and then to help you create more content more quickly. And you can do that by writing the blog and then telling ChatGPT to grade it. Like I had a time where I wrote a blog and then I went into ChatGPT and I was like, hello, I'd like for you to act as a college English professor and you're teaching a digital marketing class on blog writing. And I want you to grade this as if you're a teacher grading a paper. And can you please provide suggestions on how I can improve? So when I did that, it came back and it didn't just write the blog for me, but it actually analyzed my blog and told me areas where I can improve. Like maybe your transition could be a little bit smoother here, or you should elaborate more on this third point. Whatever it may be, whatever it would be, it would just tell me how to do it and make me a better writer. And I think using AI in that way as a tool, as opposed to a crutch, could really help make your content better. And as you do this and you get more familiar with the tools, you'll be able to create more content faster. And let me see if we've got any other questions. Alrighty, it doesn't look like it. Awesome. Well, it looks like that's all that we have for today. And if you'd like to learn more about how Birdeye can help automate your online reputation management strategy and help you increase that patient engagement and help increase patient loyalty and acquisition, reducing those no-shows, and just helping your practice grow without having to have multiple people manning phones or always have somebody ready to go on their email, but being able to use AI to help overcome the challenges that we talked about and ultimately grow your practice in 2023. If you'd like to learn more about that, please email us anytime at events@birdeye.com. And until then, we will see you next time. Thank you.